Hello everyone, welcome. This is a video about the deepest true secrets of the law of attraction. Now, you heard a lot about the law of attraction and the secrets and all these different things. And really, it's all about getting an image, really, and focusing on that image to create that vision in your mind and to have it projected from your dream world into your physical reality, okay? And that's true, and it does work. But they're not really giving you the real deep secrets of it that are used in Hollywood to make movies. They've been moved since Babylon, okay? To make plays, to make paintings, to, any kind of theater, any kind of plays, movies, commercials, TV shows, internet, everything, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Facebook posts, videos, anything like that, and social media use it. It's used in advertising. It's a big secret in advertising, and there's some cultures that know about it and some cultures that do not know about it. And the cultures that know about it have more power, and the cultures that don't know about it and have it used on them, they don't have as much power. Okay? That's very important. The tarot cards are based on it. Okay, they tell you they don't know, well, what are the tarot cards based on? Oh, I don't know. Yes, they do. It's based on all of it, on lunar mansions, the 28 mansions of the moon. And it's they're images, and what they do in movies is they take like a section, like maybe 5 to 7 of them for a whole movie, and they'll make a whole movie out of those, in like a sequence of these lunar mansions, because they go in order, yeah? Like, because it's just like the whole month, the 28 mansions of the moon, okay? And it repeats every month. Like, the moon goes through the whole zodiac every month. And again, when you understand what the mansions are, you see them everywhere. You see them in tarot cards, you see them in paintings, you see them on churches, buildings, and statues. You see them just everywhere. In movies, everywhere. See them in TV shows, commercials, they're everywhere. And people use variations of them. Okay? So the lunar mansions not only give you the exact angel to use and the exact lord to use, the lord name and the angel name also gives you the exact time, the exact day, and the exact images that you should use to get what you want and to project it into your reality to affect other people and affect yourself. Now, it's like people can use it if they have a show or something, of course, but also I like to tell people, I like to educate people. I always enjoyed teaching. I worked as a nurse and a psychic, and an astrologer, but I always enjoyed teaching. I taught at one of the medical centers I worked at. I taught like CPR, and I was an instructor trainer, and I enjoyed teaching a lot. And I taught, medical terminology, and I taught Lamaze, and I enjoyed it all very much. And so teaching is something I like to do. So I try to teach people about the lunar mansions, because when I didn't know about it, it affects you. It affected me, and I didn't even know it was affecting me, okay? I'll give you an example. I just made a video where the Archangel Michael came up because he's the planetary archangel of the sun. And so I'm going to make this point again to show you how deep this is, okay? So again, one thing though, you got to get this book, Mansions of the Moon, The Mansions of the Moon by Christopher Warnock, The Lunar Zodiac for Astrology and Magic, A Lunar Zodiac for Astrology and Magic, illustrated by Nigel Jackson, and it's got an ephemeris from 2019 to 2033, and I believe the publisher, it's Renaissance Astrology. I use this book constantly, because all the images are in here. So I'll give you one example first. I'll give the Archangel Michael, then I'll give you another example. Maybe I'll give you 3 to show you how this works. But anyway, the Archangel Michael, you see this picture, with him battling a snake or a serpent or a dragon. Okay, you see a lot of knights and angels or warriors or soldiers battling aliens, battling dragons, battling big giant serpents. Conan's battling the serpent. Ripley's battling the alien, you know, all these things, yeah? Then you see other shows where people are riding on dragons and friends with dragons and riding on big giant feathered serpents and friends with the feathered serpent. And then there's ones where they're killing them. You know, it's like, we're told that this is good and that riding on the dragon and being friends with them is bad. That that's magic and sorcery and that that's evil. Okay? Now, what's underneath all this? What is the point? Well, the point is, I got a statue of St. Michael, or Michael the Archangel, where he's not standing on any reptile, he's just standing on a cloud. So there's all kinds of different things that you can utilize. But what's actually going on here is this, actually, if you go back, this is from Greek mythology. This is actually Perseus killing Calipos, is what it really is, okay? But and that the whole thing with Medusa and all that, and he had to cut off Medusa's head and save Princess Andromeda, all that. Clash of the Titans. That's what this is based on. That's what Michael and the Serpent is based on. It's based on the Greek, because the Roman is based on the Greek, okay? Rome is based on the Greek pantheon, the gods and goddesses. Now, when he's doing this, when Michael is subjugating and killing and destroying the snake, he's subjugating, killing, destroying what? Your Kundalini energy. Your sexual energy, your reproductive energy, the energy that makes you reproduce, the energy that makes you sexually attracted to another person and makes them attracted to you. You're suppressing it, you're killing it. That's what you're doing. Okay? With your anger at this energy that scares you because it's your reproductive brain, the reptilian brain is the one that's for survival, and reproduction is survival. Okay? So they tell you that that's all bad and you got to kill it. And you got to be a celibate. Well, for some people that's fine, but don't tell other people that want to reproduce that they're bad. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what's going on here is that when you go to a church and you walk in and you got a picture like this, or I'm showing it to you here, boom, what does it do to you? It subjugates that energy. You could go home and end up not being attracted to your spouse or your lover. You might not be attracted to them anymore, and they might not be attracted to you anymore once you guys go sit in the church and look at this picture, and you don't even realize why you start losing your feelings for each other. And either you cheat or you don't, but whatever, you may not reproduce as much, or you may not get along, or you may end up in a bad situation, which you probably will, and then you got to end up going and talking to the priest, or, you know, go put money in the collection plate. Just give us the money, we'll create a problem in you, and then we'll take your money. Now, the church isn't the only people that are responsible for this. They do it in movies too. You go see a movie where they're doing this, where a soldier's killing an alien. Same thing. You don't go to the church or the priest. You go to the psychiatrist, and you give them your money. Okay? You give them your money because you broke up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your spouse, your husband, your wife. You broke up with them, or they broke up with you. You don't feel it anymore. I don't know why. I just don't feel it anymore. That's why. So now that you know that, this is how these lunar mansions work. This is all where this stuff comes from, okay? So what you've got to understand is that these images are archetype images, and they're deep, okay? And they're used to get your energy, to make you fear and be controlled and get your money. And that's what it's used for, all right? It can also be used for good, obviously. But luckily, you know, there's a balance given, okay? And there is a lot of teaching going on, because the secret and the law of attraction are all teaching you this without making it seem hard and not telling you the scary part, because there's a lot of scary parts, okay? There's a lot of scary parts, but you need at one point to grow up and not be a little baby anymore and be an adult and understand the scary parts so you can use them in your favor instead of not knowing about it and letting your life get wiped out, okay? It's because people in these relationships, this really affects people. Obviously, this is one of the most important things in their life. And you mess with this, you're messing with their whole life, their families, their reproduction, their children. You know, you're messing with dynasties. You're messing with families. You're messing with a person's ability to love someone. You're affecting their intimacy. You're affecting their happiness. Okay? So this is... And I'll give you another example. There are programs that show people riding on dragons, like House of Dragons. And there's movies, magical movies, where people are friends with dragons and ride on dragons, or they're friends with Quetzalcoatl and ride on the feathered serpent, or that kind of thing, where they're friendly with snakes or whatever. So, that's people that are comfortable with their sexual energy and comfortable with their reproductive energy and not afraid of it. And not afraid of the whole sex and death aspect. Okay? Because the snake represents sex and death, or the dragon. And that's, again, it's the Kundalini energy. It's a very powerful energy. It can really burn you if you don't know what's going on with it. Okay? There's a lot of martial arts that work with it and teach people to, a lot of martial arts do that, or just taking, there's different movements that people can do to make them feel healthy, and some even to increase the energy and increase the power, of your chi or your mana or your ki in your body, It's ki, chi, mana. It's that energy that they use in acupuncture, acupressure. Okay, so another example is in, I like to give this example, in the movie, they used it in the movie, what is it called? It had Diane Lane in it, and she was an FBI agent, and I can't think of it. But anyway, I'll get to that one in another minute. But they also used it on a Fraser show. There's one lunar mansion that destroys water, aquifers, and it destroys, like your waterworks, your sink, your aquifers, that kind of thing. And you embed it, you take the image and you embed it deep within the well, But there was a Fraser episode where they had Fraser standing in the episode holding a vase. It was about crock pot. It's called crock pot or something. And he was holding a crock pot and the flowers in it, and it was squirting thin streams of water out from it. That's a lunar mansion. That's a specific lunar mansion. It's an angel standing with a perforated vessel, a perforated chalice with streaming out water, and that destroys aquifers. And that was buried in an episode at the end when they're singing the song. That's buried deep in the well. See? And there's another one where they have, in the beginning of the show, The Last Temptation of Daphne, where the dog Eddie is chasing his tail and biting his tail. And in that program, in that particular episode, Niles and Daphne almost break up because Daphne is jealous of one of Niles' patients. He's a psychiatrist, and she gets jealous because the patient's in love because she read the chart, the psychiatrist chart. So it's all, and that lunar mansion, when you see a dog chasing and biting his tail, one of the results of that is the man and the woman separate the man from the woman. And that was addressed in that. But what was good about that show is they fixed it. That's what's good about Fraser, because of the psychiatry and the Jungian, and the Jungian, they talk about Carl Jung and Freud. They bring that in and they fixed it. So that it can be used for good, obviously. And someone on the other side of the fence might think that people that are riding dragons and feeling strong with their Kundalini energy might feel that that's evil, and that people that do this are good. But it's just relying upon how you were brought up, and it's relying upon your own personality and your own zodiac sign, because some zodiac signs have, every zodiac sign has its own things they think are good and bad. And at the end of the day, it all comes out in a good way. And there's one Bible verse that's true. All things do work together for good for those who love God and serves purpose. Okay? God is who? God is your own ego. And who is Satan? Somebody else's ego. That's why if you make a deal with Satan, you can get somewhere, but you got to be careful because they don't have your best interests at heart. Okay? So, I can't, I know, the Diane Lane movie that I was going to show, the Lunar Mansion, it's called Untraceable. And in that movie, there was a scene where the mother is planting trees in the soil. And when I saw that image of the mother, Diane Lane's mother and the grandmother to her daughter is planting these shrubs into the soil in her front yard. And it was an image in this book that looks just like that. And I realized, I believe it's Lunar Mansion number 25, but I looked, I said, that is that. And I realized they're using it in these movies. And then I looked at the whole thing and I realized they used number 24 and number 25 and number 6 and 27 right in order in that movie. It went right down the line. And you wonder sometimes why they do certain scenes in movies and do certain strange things. It's because they're following the lunar mansions. They're just going bada bing, bada boom, right down the line. And Clash of the Titans movies did that. They used Lunar Mansion 24, 25, 26. So if you once you see it, you see it everywhere. That's the true secret, okay, to the law of attraction and this visualization, the secrets and all these things. That's the truth. And they don't want to tell you that all up front because it's very complicated. And again, there's some scary parts, and you have to be very precise. You have to have the right pictures on the right day at the right moment. But the thing is, what's good about this is that's the left brain, which is the chattering monkey. But the right brain gives you some leeway. Okay? There's one lunar mansion number 1, that has a black warrior carrying a spear, and he has like braids and long hair, and it's wrapped around himself, and it's a black warrior, and he can obliterate neighborhoods, villages, obliterate certain clans of people, tribes of people, okay? He walks through and he just cleans them out. You know what I mean? That's the first lunar mansion, and that's what it's used for. And I was watching the show Gentleman Jack, and I realized it's Genielle. It's called Genielle, is the angel. She represents the angel of the first mansion, Geniel, Geniel, and the mansion is Al Sharatain, and it's the horns of Aries. And I realized that she's Geniel because Ann Lister, she wears all black. She says her color is black, and I just realized it the other day. She's walking around with this cane in her hand, this stick, and she's walking around. She's also, there's Cain and Abel, that too, but more to the point. She's walking around carrying the stick really fast and just going everywhere, and she kind of disrupts, obviously, if you watch that show, she disrupts all of the families with her shenanigans. I'm not saying anything's good or bad. I'm just saying she introduces other tribes, other cultures into this culture that she comes into. She brings other people from other cultures in, and the people from other cultures end up getting to have children with the guys in that town, and the women, she sort of takes the women and they don't reproduce. And what happens to the clan? The tribe gets wiped out. So it's a good show, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying, again, these things aren't good and bad. I mean, there has to be some fresh blood in tribes, or else everybody gets like a pedigree dog. If they're too pedigree and they don't, they say mutts are healthier than pedigrees. So it's not always bad. Not everything's bad. There has to be some flow of blood and energy and different cultures and people mingling and mixing together. So again, there's one side where you think it's bad and one side where you think it's good. But the point is, if you understand it and it's being thrown at you, then you can make better choices because you understand what's being done, and you can make a decision from your cerebral mind and from you're not just having it go into your cough here in the back of your mind where it just goes in there, and you're walking around like a robot who's being programmed by the program. You understand it and you can deal with it. So that's a lot of intense stuff to talk about, but it's important. Learning these things has changed my life, because before this, my life was I was all over the place because I was very sensitive to all these things, all these images and all these movies and all these religions, and I was very sensitive to it all, and I was overwhelmed with it all. Now that I understand it, I enjoy teaching it. So I'm trying to teach you, and you can use it for your benefit. And of course, there's ways to use these things that are for not just families and all that, but also for money, for success, for all kinds of things. I mean, people use it to wage warfare. And you're going to find it is used to wage warfare. And when you show images on the screen of warfare, it causes it to happen. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay. Thanks, and we'll see you soon. Okay.